Time for our series, Business Leaders. It's the series where we talk to small business owners from coast to coast about President Trump's tariffs and the impact they're having on their businesses. Some have been happy with the effects, others are uncertain. My guest today is Matt Reboyne. He's the owner of Brix Cider in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. It's a hard cider manufacturing plant and a farm-to-table restaurant both. Sounds amazing, Matt. So you make hard cider, you have the restaurant. I understand it's your newest product that you've seen impacted the most by these new tariffs. So tell us about it.
Yeah, we have a new product we're coming out with. It's a cream liqueur, actually. We recently started doing distilled spirits. And we wanted a special bottle for it because, the craft and beverage market is so flooded. There's so much on the market. That you need to stand out a little bit. I actually brought our little bottle that we are going with. It's kind of like so it's Wisconsin, it's a cream liqueur. So we wanted something that looked like an old time milk jug, like the milkman used to bring. And I couldn't find a bottle made by a U.S. manufacturer that sort of fit that vibe, other than one that was like, we're a small place and there was one that would do a huge order that was too much for us. We don't have the space for it or the money for it. So I ended up finding a producer in China that makes it, and I put down the down payment down a little before the tariffs went completely nuts, and then then we paused the order after it was up to like 145%, and now we're moving ahead with the order. And it's I've been watching your show a bit. I've watched some of the other segments. I'd say we're not one of the companies that's being absolutely crushed by tariffs. We're also not one of those rare ones that's like happy about it. I'd say it's, we're in that majority that's kind of getting hurt more than we're getting helped. And we're really grateful for, we're part of the group Main Street Alliance, and they're representing small businesses, and they're seeing what we're doing, and they're seeing their members struggle. And so they've been really fighting hard for us, trying to change these policies.
What's the impact been on your prices, both for the cream liqueur and also the rest of what you make?
Yeah, there's the direct, like, we're going to pay the tariff on the cream liqueur, and that's going to impact our price. It's going to be about, once this thing is printed and shipped to us, it's about $2 a bottle with the custom printing and everything. And the tariff, if it's still 30%. We'll see if it's that would be about 60 cents a bottle that we'd pay extra. That's, it's a tax. It's kind of a sneaky tax. And we would probably have to up at least 60 cents on the price for that bottle. And then, the wholesaler or the distributor we work with, they'd mark up based on a percentage. And then the retailer is going to mark up based on a percentage. So, you're going to end up seeing that one thing, it'll go up about $1 a bottle. So it's just sort of like, in addition to your sales tax, you're getting this kind of, $1 a bottle tariff tax on it.
Yeah.
And then, but then there's other sort of indirect ways we're getting tariffed. Like I just bought some boxes yesterday where I'm not importing them, but I noticed the price get ticked up.
Yeah.
And, we buy coffee from a local coffee roaster, and their prices are going up because, you can't get American-grown coffee other than maybe Hawaii, but most of it's from overseas. So we're seeing other prices kind of ticking up, and we don't have a ton of wiggle room as a small business. We kind of have to just move those prices up accordingly ourselves.
Very interesting. The restaurant, one more time, for anybody near the Mount Horeb, Wisconsin area, it's Brix Cider. It's west of Madison. Go check it out. Matt Reboyne, thank you so much. Great having you. Really appreciate it. No major price hikes at Home Depot, but the company does expect some impacts from President Trump's sweeping tariffs. In an earnings call today, executives said they don't expect to pass on price hikes to consumer, but supply chain issues may mean some products may not be available. Leaders worry that could weaken consumer confidence. This as a number of other companies react to the tariffs with price increases in the United States. Japanese automaker Subaru among the latest to join that group yesterday. Joining me now to discuss is Gene Soroka. He's executive director of the Port of Los Angeles. He joins us there from the port, as you can see. So, Gene, Walmart and Home Depot have both cited issues with the supply chain in their recent earnings calls. What have you seen at the Port of Los Angeles in recent weeks to indicate the effect these tariffs are having on products?
Yeah, good evening, Jake. What we're seeing right now is that the month of May will show 20% of our vessel arrivals canceled. The first and last week of May down precipitously, more than 30% year on year. Soft month overall. June, we're still expecting to be lighter than normal because these tariffs are still very high for importers to purchase goods.
Has the 90-day change, that pause that Trump instituted from the 145% tariffs on China down to 30%, has that had any impact on imports?
You've got some importers right now, Jake, trying to scoop up the goods that were already made, sitting on factory floors at the 145% level. And think of parts that are going to American factories because it's very expensive to shut down a line. Hospital supplies to make sure that we've got those medical goods in place to care for patients, and then maybe some hypersensitive seasonal items. But right now, what most companies are telling me is they're doing the math. Do they roll the dice now and purchase at an average of averages 30%? Maybe not. Maybe they wait till the end of 90 days. But that's typically the amount of time it takes the entire order cycle process to take effect, from order to completion and then sailing. So these are really going to be difficult choices for a lot of American importers.
What are you projecting in terms of imports as we move into the summer?
It's going to be lighter than normal. May is traditionally the month where purchase orders go in for the all-important year-end holiday seasons. At these prices, Jake, what I see are folks carrying less inventory, fewer selections on shelves, and likely higher prices for American consumers.
Are you able to tell if there are specific goods that have been impacted more than others right now?
It's a little bit early, but I was just talking with a parts supplier to the big three, to Ford, GM, Dodge, and Ram. Their products right now have 57.5% tariffs on them, selling to the big OEMs. So it's going to be just all over the board. We've got over 1 trillion stock-keeping units that come through the Port of Los Angeles with all these containers. It's going to be really hard to parse this apart. Really, I think the goods coming in are going to be based on need, contracts in place, and what's got to keep this economy moving.
Packages worth $800 or less coming from China still have a tariff of 54%, down from the pre-negotiation level of 120. Before Liberation Day, April 2nd, they used to be duty-free, thanks to a tax policy called the de minimis loophole. How much do you think the tariffs on those goods is affecting imports right now?
That's right, Jake. And I hear from folks across the country that they're going to be purchasing less of those. And the people that are in charge of distributing, think of UPS and FedEx Ground here in the United States, also forecasting lighter deliveries of those parcels coming in from China, simply based on the cost and lower consumer willingness to spend.